Hey everybody. Oh, excuse me, my sinuses are bothering me. But I am here. It is a little bit after 6 o'clock. If you're catching the replay, I am talking about all of the reasons slash excuses why I rushed into marriage, or why I was trying to rush into marriage. Let me say it that way. If this is your first time here, my name is Catherine. I'm half of the creators behind Yoked. Hubby is not here tonight because he had clients. He's a mental health counselor and had some clients that needed to see him tonight, so he's out working. And so we're the creators of Yoked, where we're teaching couples that godly marriages start long before the ring and helping them to build and maintain foundations that keep marriages going. If you're joining us from our sister site, The Wife Maker, welcome. Hi, Danielle. We're glad to have you here. We actually run both of those sites. We do this one more as a couple and a team. The Wife Maker is pretty much all me because it's talking to women by women. So yeah, tonight we're talking about the reasons why I was rushing into marriage. And if you, yes, you're here. I'm glad you're here. If you came over from the Instagram pages, the Instagram accounts, I was talking there about how my husband almost determined who I was going to be. And it's not as, he's not a terrible person. He didn't try to force me into anything. But because I was so determined to be married, I was very fixated on who I thought he wanted me to be and what I could possibly give him, physically, mentally, emotionally, that would kind of nudge him in the right direction. And so if you've, followed along for a while, I've been, more open about my mental health struggles, dealing with anxiety and, some depression and things of that nature. When I first met my husband, I was 30 years old. He was 27. So, hey, I'm a Puma. I ain't ashamed. But I was 30 years old and I was at that age where I was like, okay, I've got to get married now, because if I don't get married, I'm not going to have the kids. I'm not going to have the family. Like all of these things that I just knew were not going to come if I didn't get married at the right age. And I didn't get married till three years later. I was 33. I'm 40 now. I still don't have kids. So it didn't matter if I got if I got married at 30 or 33. Right now this is not the plan that God has for us to have kids. But anyway, I digress. When I met him, I finally admitted to myself that I was not I was not the woman that he deserved to be married to. More importantly, I realized that I was not the woman that I deserved for myself. And that was something that was really hard for me to accept, because all of my, dating years had been spent trying to, be the perfect girlfriend, be, wifey material, be perfect in bed, all of these things that I struggled with, because my quest was to get married, to be somebody's wife, because I'm like, that was the ultimate goal, was to be a wife, not understanding what that actually meant. Like, you can get married, but then after the wedding day, you have to actually be a wife, not knowing what that meant. So all of these, even when I got with my husband, when I realized that I was not the woman that either of us deserved, even then I was still, well, he needs me to be this person, because if I'm not this person, he's not going to want to marry me. He needs me to cook this kind of food and cook food this, this many times, because if I don't cook things to the way and rate that he wants, then he's not going to marry me. I need to wear these types of clothes, because if I don't dress a certain way, he's not going to want to marry me. I need to speak this way and know these people, because if I don't know the right people or have the right friends, he's not going to marry me. And all of these things that I was trying to change and cultivate about myself had nothing to do with me. They had everything to do with what I thought he wanted from me and what I thought he expected of me. Now, if you're listening, you hear the difference in that. I built my entire, or was trying to build my entire existence. Not that he asked any of these things of me, but I was trying to build my entire existence about what I thought someone else wanted from me. And I tried to make myself into the person who I thought someone else wanted to be with. I completely lost myself in the process. And it wasn't just with dating my husband and wanting to marry my husband. This was like every relationship that I had ever been in. I put myself in so many situations and dated just like the worst people on the planet because my goal was to be a wife. And there was never a moment when I was like, okay, who am I? What is it that I want to do in life? And just being completely honest, I was probably 35 years old when I figured out who I was and what my purpose was in life, according to who God wanted me to be. Not my husband, not even me, not society. We as women, because society tells us that we have to be married by a certain age, we have to have so many kids, we have to do all of these things, Danielle, look, so much guilt. Like there's so much, all of this. We allow society to tell us who we are supposed to be and the things that we need to do and the things that we need to accomplish by a certain age, that we completely lose our purpose in ourselves and in this world. And once you've lost yourself, it's really hard to find your way back. And I'm not saying this from, a perspective of, okay, this is what I think, should be happening. This is the reality of what so many of us are going through. And, I totally experienced it myself. We are so, I don't want to say insecure, but we're very vulnerable to what society expects of us. We're very vulnerable to what our partners expect of us because we have a hard time finding the worth within ourselves because we've lost our identity in Christ. We're, trying to find our identity in our marriages and in our relationships and in our friendships. It happens, you see it a lot of times when, we talked a couple of days about, Jermaine was saying that he has clients who are like, well, things changed because going into it, people haven't accepted each other for who they are. A lot of times we will get married or get into a relationship and things change when we start to figure out exactly who we are and what we're supposed to be doing in this world. And the person that we're with, this new us, is completely foreign to them. And we either, kind of go off in left field because now we've figured out who we are and have found our purpose, or we are stuck and, susceptible to depression and anxiety and fear and all of these things because we don't know who we are outside of what everyone else has told us we should be and who we should be and what we should be doing. And my whole reason for trying to rush into marriage was because I didn't know my identity outside of potentially being someone's wife. I had no idea who I was or what I wanted to do. No clue. All I knew was I needed to set myself on the path. I needed to meet the right people, and maybe one day one of them will, want to be with me and marry me, and then I'm going to be a wife. That was the end of the line. That was my whole goal, was to be a wife. And that is such a dangerous mindset to have. And it's really sad to me, looking back on it now, because all of that was wrapped up in the fear that I was not enough, that I would never be enough, even if I never got married, even if I remained single for the rest of my life. All of those, I guess, manipulations of my personality were based out of the fear that I was not enough. So I just want to tell you, you are enough. You are perfectly enough just the way you are. If you never ever get married, you are an incredible woman who is meant to do incredible things. If my husband, if the Lord were to take my husband tonight, please don't, I would be terrified. I'd be so sad. If my husband were gone tonight, I still have to have my identity in Christ. And that's something that if you are on a quest to be married, you need to realize that you always have to keep your identity in Christ. Know who you truly are at the core. Even after you get married, you still need to know who you are. It's, my husband and I, we do pretty much everything together. We travel together, we eat together, we have like all the same friends, but we are still individual people because we've come into this world alone. We're going to leave this world alone. We're still individuals and we maintain our individuality even in our marriage. So I just want to tell you that tonight, know that you're enough. Don't rush into a relationship. Don't rush into a marriage. Don't rush into a job, a career path or anything because you are letting someone else tell you who you're supposed to be. Figure out who you are, what you're supposed to be doing in this world, and go for it. God will bring everything else to you. Yeah, these things are much shorter when my husband isn't here because I talk to him all the time. But anyway, I love y'all. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a great night. We will plan to be back here tomorrow at 6 p.m., continuing to tell our family story. Love you. Bye.